Hey there, welcome to the garden. Just out here this morning checking on everything. The garden is full of bees and butterflies. It's so exciting. Things are growing fast. I came out here yesterday and I actually went ahead and deadheaded this Sunfinity sunflower, so you can see that it's looking a little bit different than it has been behind me. I had been thinking that I was going to just leave all of the spent blooms on it. Technically, with the Sunfinity sunflowers, they say that you don't have to deadhead them, and they're a big repeating bloomer. They're supposed to be kind of one of those consistent annuals that just keeps going throughout the season. But I don't know. I was feeling like it wasn't looking I was feeling like it wasn't looking very good. It was just kind of getting weighed down by all these spent blooms. And then we were sort of getting to the point where it was barely really blooming. There were just a couple blooms on it. So I deadheaded it yesterday, got it all cleaned up, and I feel like I can already see these next blooms opening faster than they have. There's all these little buds all over it, a few blooms, but yeah, all of these buds. And I don't know, when I had all the dead flowers on the plant, I don't know, they weren't opening. But now I feel like this looks so much better, and look how the bees are so happy. Nothing like a sunflower if you want to have pollinators in your garden. Oh my gosh, they are loving it. But yeah, hopefully now this plant will bloom more and be more encouraged. And I also went ahead and deadheaded the one that's in a pot over there. But now it just looks tidier, cleaned up, a little bit less. The container was starting to look like it was kind of at the end of its time, but I don't think so. There's so much good stuff growing in here. You can see that the coleus is getting really big. So there's tons of life, and I'm just hoping now that this is all cleaned up that we'll be back to like the real blooming. Kind of hit the peak blooms for that plant, but I wasn't ready for it to be done blooming yet. So anyways, I am gonna harvest. Look at this Tromboncino squash. Oh my gosh, huge squash. And I'm realizing, like, I gotta harvest it now before it gets too big. When you harvest these at a reasonable size, and then you can use them kind of just in any application that you would use a zucchini. But I don't want to let that go too long, because I think if you let them keep going, then they just get huge and really like hard and everything, and you wouldn't want to eat it. And I want to use these just as squash. I also have the other one over here on the fence line that's getting really really big now, so that's kind of exciting. How good that looks. It's getting really big, and it's starting to put off some blooms, so hopefully we'll have even more of these. I hope I didn't wait too long on this guy. I gotta get my clippers out so I can harvest that. Oh, we might have a dahlia bloom this week. So this is the Mystic Illusions dahlia, and look at that, it's about to bloom. Also, the water and adding in the coffee grounds, look how much better the tomatoes in this raised bed are doing. They're green again. It's so encouraging. They just needed that little extra bit of food, so they're looking so much better. And I did the hyacinth bean vine is getting really huge over here too, but I'm just so encouraged to see these tomatoes looking so green. That was just a really big success, and just a really good reminder that, you know, having some of those long-term fertilizers in the containers just really helps. Fertilizer when it comes to container gardening. It's so important. And the water-soluble fertilizers weekly are really important, but also some of those things just like in the soil, that has been a good reminder. And it's really encouraging to see that the tomatoes actually look good. These food tomatoes are gonna get huge now. These are gonna be crazy, but they are my daughter's absolute favorite. Okay, let's harvest the squash. I don't think there's too much else out here right now that I need to really do. I've been deadheading, so along with deadheading all of the sunflowers, I have been keeping after these gorgeous apricot, I don't know what, I think I was saying like pink lemonade, apricot lemonade cosmos. Oh my gosh, absolutely like one of those flowers that, wow, it's so beautiful. I mean, it's the perfect like cottage garden looking cosmos. It's so stunning. I think I need to harvest, actually, let me check. I think I need to harvest, well, the Roma tomato is not quite ready. Well, maybe I might do. Yeah, you know what? I'll just let it ripen on the counter. But I think there's a pepper in here too. This is one of those lunchbox snack peppers. Hopefully I'm not gonna get, oh no, I think I knocked off one of the fruits. I can see this orange pepper in here. I gotta get it out. Oh my gosh. Well, can I do it one hand? Oh, that's exciting. Look at that. Okay, we're starting to have a good harvest day. Okay, let me get my clippers because I also am gonna grab a couple of these eggplants. I think I've been harvesting them pretty small, but I just feel like it's easier to just harvest them small and utilize them, just throwing them into dishes. I tend to just like add eggplant to everything this time of year. Whenever I grow eggplants, I'll just add them into all anywhere that I'm doing like ground beef or tomato sauce or anything, I'll just add eggplants. And there's cucumbers to harvest. Oh my gosh, so much to harvest. Okay, I'm gonna put these down so I can get some more stuff. I'm gonna prop you up right there. Hopefully you can see. I don't want, there we go. I love it. The vine is now trailing down. I think I'm just gonna let it trail on the ground and it can just keep trailing over here. The nice thing about having the pavement here is that like everything can just trail on it, and you know, it's not really gonna damage the plants. I've had a little bit of pest damage, but not all too terrible as far as like things growing on the concrete. I think it's gonna be pretty easy, and I'm gonna avoid too much damage. Okay, now let's go over here and let's see. These are the salad bush cucumbers. I swear I am picking cucumbers off these plants like every day. There are more cucumbers on here. I actually might leave a couple because my daughter's been having a ton of fun. We've been watering the garden together in the evening, and she loves getting to pick the cucumbers. But I am gonna I saved some more coffee grounds from the coffee this morning, and I'm gonna put a little bit more around these cucumber leaves because they are still looking a little bit pale. The tomatoes, can you hear all those bees? The tomatoes really bounced back quickly. They bounced back super fast. The cucumbers I feel like are still looking a little bit just off color. They need a little bit more something, but we'll put some coffee grounds around them and see if that doesn't help. Oh my gosh, there's another cucumber in there. There's so many salad bush cucumbers. I've said it again and again. Okay, I'm gonna grab the eggplants. Look at that little harvest, and then I saved one cucumber over there for my daughter to pick later. But look at this. Gonna have to put this in dinner tonight. Well, let's see how it tastes. I'm so curious. I think I might have let it go a little bit long. I think it's a little bit big, but that's all right. So what I may do now, oh, this is the gypsy pepper. It's starting to turn red. I haven't been watering too much in the morning. I've been trying to just water in the afternoon, but I think I'm gonna hit the garden with a little bit of water right now since I'm out here and it's been getting pretty dry. But then that'll be enough for today. Okay, first I gotta get the harvest. Get the little harvest in. Can I hold it all in one hand? Hey there. So I am out here picking a couple of the Juliet tomatoes that are really ripe. Such a great tomato. And the Mystic Illusion Dahlia just opened its first flower. It is so pretty. This has to be like one of the best little dahlias that you can get. I absolutely love it. So let me show it to you. Look how cute it is. So it finally opened. It was just yesterday that I was showing you that it was about to open, and look at that, how sweet. It's covered in buds, which is so encouraging. This whole bed is doing pretty well. I wanted to give you an update too out here on the salvia. I'm hoping it'll grow okay. It seems like it's still doing fine. As you can see, it's buried a little bit down in this trough planter, but it is getting full sun. So we're at about like noon today, and it's very much got full sun. So hopefully that'll be enough. And these they can handle a little bit of part shade too. So I'm not totally, you know, it's not the best location for it, but I think it should work. Now over here, this dahlia I've realized is really getting excuse me, this container is really getting shaded out by this awesome, this is a mammoth sunflower right here, which is getting so big, but it's shading out my containers. And although they do get pretty intense afternoon sun, I feel like this is definitely shading at least this dahlia container here too much. So I'm gonna move it. And this guy too. Look how many buds are on this though. Can you see them in there? The plant overall like doesn't look amazing. There's a bunch of, let me take off the dead seed heads. And there's some leaves on this guy that don't look great. But I really upped the fertilizer in the garden. Because if you've been around this summer, you know that I just have been feeling like everything is looking a little bit like washed out. And so I've been trying to really stay on top of the fertilizer and even increase it. And I think I'm seeing good results in a few different areas. Like this guy has got so many more buds on it. Maybe I'll put it back in front of there. I mean, it was doing okay, but I just feel like this dahlia, this is another Mystic Illusion dahlia. This one's, you know, you can see it leaning because of where the sunflower was kind of cutting into its sunlight. So I'm gonna pop it over here for now. I may go ahead and move that container up. Look at the sweet potato vine. This is so fun. So I have had a few questions about, you know, what I grow with sweet potatoes and growing flowers with sweet potatoes if you want to get a potato harvest. I think I mentioned when I made this video, but I want to make sure that I, you know, say it. If I really was going for a big sweet potato harvest, I probably would not plant anything in this container with the sweet potatoes. I probably would just do like a single container just with the sweet potatoes, really letting those expand, because of course they've got to form those tubers, the potatoes, and you want to have just nice lofty soil, good space for them to form that. Now, someone asked me if there was like anything that they could plant with a sweet potato, and I did say that, you know, if I was going to plant anything, it would be a zinnia. I wasn't really thinking about that when I planted this container, because I'm just using this sweet potato as a vine, as kind of like a spiller in the container. I'm not using it for any kind of a like as an official, you know, as produce growing plant, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But zinnias tend to have a really small root system, so if you really wanted to try to grow sweet potatoes for food and you wanted to try to have a plant in there too, I would pick something like a zinnia maybe that has a really small root system so that it didn't interfere with the growth of the sweet potato. Yeah, that would just be like my initial like guess and what I would try to do. I haven't experimented with it a lot, although I kind of want to now. I think that would be interesting. I feel like the people that grow sweet potatoes in ground, I can't remember. I'm like having like memories of people talking about having weeds growing in and among the sweet potatoes and it not being an issue. So I feel like there is some potential there, maybe some experimenting. It will be interesting. I'll definitely make sure to share when I clean out this container at the end of the season. We can take a look and see how much of a root system actually grew there. The dahlia, of course, also has a tuber, so that is going to be growing a tuber down here in this container as well. So that may or may not affect what kind of tuber growth we get with the actual sweet potato. Sweet potatoes are always interesting. One year I grew like one of those Sweet Caroline, you know, just like the annual kind of style foliage plant sweet potatoes. It grew in my front yard. It literally took over. I had a little townhouse kind of garden and it took over the entire front yard, like grew. I mean, I don't know how big the yard was in feet. It's like an 8x8, you know, front yard, whatever, like little small townhouse front yard. But it grew across the whole thing. And when I dug that up, I mean, the size of the tuber was like, it was like huge. It just had one huge sweet potato, absolutely massive. It was really wild and interesting. So it'll be an interesting experiment, but I thought I would share that because I got a few questions about it. And I just wanted to make sure I you know, address my thoughts on it, but I don't really know. And I need to do more. I need to do more experimentation on what to grow with sweet potatoes, and definitely growing potatoes in containers is an area that I want to do more because I love homegrown potatoes. They're so great. Collection of containers over here by the corner of my little garden shed, and I'm so excited because these are my Queen Lime Red zinnias and some of my favorite zinnias, and they are about to bloom. So that is really, really great. I'm very excited to see that. And yeah, here's the garden right now. It's looking good this week. A lot of good stuff happening. Gotta check, you know, for all the cucumbers. Like this one, I was out here yesterday with you guys, and this was tiny. Oh, my gosh. It's so crazy to me how fast these sunflowers just grow. They are not sunflowers, cucumbers, these salad bush cucumbers. This is so wild. Here's another one. Okay, before I sign off, the last thing I want to share with you is the size of the broom corn. I'm still going back. I'm still going back. I'm still going back. Look at that. Look how huge that is. And that's growing in a container. So if you needed any more of reason to grow broom corn this year, there you have it. What I'm gonna do with this, because it's not gonna produce any corn cobs, so what I'm gonna do with this is I'm just gonna let it keep growing. I'm gonna let it grow all the way until it dries out. Let it stay in the container. It's just gonna grow and grow and grow. It's gonna put off that beautiful plume. It's gonna put that off. It's gonna start drying. The plant's gonna die and it's gonna start drying. And I'm just gonna leave it in here, let it dry, and then I will cut it down and actually probably use it as some decoration, you know, in the front of the house or wherever I want to do, maybe over by the arch trellis, wherever I want to do like fall decoration. I will use this just as fall decoration. You just want to leave it in the ground and leave it standing, and then it'll dry. You can harvest it, you know, if you want. You can cut it down a little bit before it dries out, but then you just have to store it. So there's really no reason to do that if you're growing decorative corn. Just to have as fun decorative corn, just leave it and let it dry out like that. I'm also just over here gonna check the ground cherries because, oh, there's a whole bunch of them. My daughter's gonna be so excited about that. All right, these are just a few little updates from the garden. I will talk to you again soon. Thanks so much for watching.